Yes. Hey, no mai haere mai ki Waha Wāhine, Bitches with Bubbles. And the Bitches with Bubbles are here.
Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou, Switch Aotearoa whānau. Hey, this is the first show, the inaugural show for Bitches with Bubbles, and the Bitches with Bubbles are happy to join you tonight. 5:30 every Friday on Switch Aotearoa. And the kaupapa, the idea behind this show is that some Bitches with Bubbles will join you every Friday to talk about the stuff that chicks like to talk about, but usually only with one or two friends. But we want to join a group of friends, that includes you, to talk about that important stuff, like what about that lump here, there or there, and important stuff like these new eyebrows that I got, and we'll get into that later, and get some good medical advice, or just shoot the shit, really. Now, other stuff is, if you are offended by this show, maybe swipe right, or try and complain to the Broadcast Standards Authority, or not, because it's an online show, so that might not work for you. But hopefully you won't be offended and you'll actually just want to get in touch and find out about some of the kaupapa, or put some kaupapa forward. So let's get on with the intros. So my good colleague here.
Oh, kia ora.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. I'm Jess.
Tell us a bit about yourself, Jess. Would you?
I should have actually brought my Tinder profile to read out, because
Well,
I
yes,
feel like my
you know.
Tinder profile is actually like got
I'm
my...
swiping left.
Yeah. I thought you would be.
Are we
It's
getting married?
basically, it's sort of, I think we would actually get
You
married.
could.
Yeah. It's just like basically a bullet point list of all the things that I like, like gin and good conversation and not
Okay.
dickheads. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. I run a business in social media, so you know this whole like live streaming thing is kind of my
Right
jam.
up your alley.
Right up my alley. Though running a business, my job now is actually to run the business, which has been quite a mind shift in terms of like what my job is now to do. So if you actually asked me to run a live stream, I probably wouldn't know what to do or what plug to put where.
And
Which
we're
is the kind of
thankful for the
we're
Switch
really
team that are doing
the
that
Switch
tonight.
team out there. They
Yeah.
are doing things, and I understand what they're saying, but I don't know what they're doing.
Right.
So kia ora Switch team.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful to be here. We've been like I think from that moment
It's
we
like
sort of
2 years ago.
Yeah,
when
2 years
believe it or
ago.
not, we might have been having a
Never.
little glass of bubbles.
Absolutely
A
not.
really quiet one in the viaduct.
Out of character for us, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've stumbled home.
I
We
walked
do not condone.
very ladylike.
Yeah,
home.
we do. Yeah. No, it's very responsible.
We don't
though.
condone
No,
drinking or
exactly.
alcoholism, and that's
No.
why I've catered tonight.
Oh, you have catered.
'Cause I'm a responsible
Oh,
host.
exactly. You are a responsible host.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So-
Hey, but if anyone wants to sponsor some proper catering,
Yeah.
then your
Yeah.
logo could go here.
Yeah, we'll put up a
Oh,
list.
shameless boast,
Should
eh?
we put up a list of all of our favourite
Yeah,
foods?
cool. Good idea.
Kia ora.
Hey, and my other co-host.
Tēnā kōrua,
Kōrero
tēnā
mai.
kōtau, nā mihi nui ki a koutou katoa. Hei paraire, ne?
Ai.
Tēnei te pō whakamutunga o te wiki. This is Friday night, so we can relax and take a breath after a hard week. So I'm Hinemoa, I'm a psychiatrist, and I work a lot in child and adolescent psychiatry, which I think is going to be kind of appropriate.
Yeah.
That is with the two of us.
We have the inner child, we have the inner
we do.
kōtero, the inner girl to think about. Yeah, so I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah.
Bit of
Hey.
truth-telling, bit of revealing, bit of honesty, ladies.
bit of raw honesty.
Raw
Raw
honesty.
honesty.
Yeah.
We're all about that.
Yeah.
Hey, and from me, firstly, I'm so glad to have a psychiatrist along because I've got some shit to get out over the course of this show every
exactly.
week.
We should be sitting on a couch.
We could try a lying version.
Yeah, lying down version.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how the boys will feel about that because it's been fucking hard enough to get this microphone going tonight.
Yes.
Because
Very directional microphones.
It's exceptionally directional.
Yes,
So
exceptionally
It's
directional.
quite daunting having this.
Yeah,
and I am used to having an appendage in front of me, but
this is not my first rodeo.
I can't move. That's the weird bit. And earlier, even in rehearsal, I did have a bit of a tit issue with
Yeah.
my.
He's spitting
Yeah.
his bubbles out.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
By the end
Just
of it.
Yeah.
keep swallowing.
So, tēnā koutou, ko shame ngārimu aho. As Jess mentioned, we had this little brainchild a couple of years ago while we were drinking.
Responsibly.
Just responsibly, one glass down in the viaduct. We were saying, do you know what? It'd be great if we had our own podcast because we've got a lot of things we've got on our mind, and we'd probably find that a lot of other women are having the same discussions, and it's best if we all have them a bit out in the open. So finally got here, thanks to the brother Rubette and the sister Mel. Here we are tonight,
Kia ora, Rubette.
getting that done.
Yeah, kia ora.
So a little bit about me. I've ventured into the world of owning my own business too, and doing a bit of contracting, and it's a little bit scary. But got a psychiatrist now, so I'm good. I can now talk about those fears and my childhood issues. But as Jess mentioned about the Tinder profile, I've had to go off Tinder. But if you are interested, swipe left and get in touch. And if you're not interested, swipe right.
No hard feelings.
What I would like to find is a man. Sorry, ladies, I know it's a very appealing opportunity. And yes, I get there's a continuum and a sexual continuum.
It just
and
really feels like you've got an agenda for this.
It's got to
actually.
be flexible.
Yeah.
Is this your
a
big...
flexi-sexual.
That's it,
do you feel?
I'm a flexi-sexual.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm 100% a flexi-sexual. I'm just like I think the proper name for it, although I don't like putting a label on it,
Right.
is pansexual, where you're just sort of
Oh,
attracted
tell
to
me
people.
more.
You're attracted to people,
Oh.
where like you become really attracted to someone, and it doesn't really matter if they're a man or a woman. So like that's
way.
probably, but I just don't like the name pansexual. I
It
just think
feels
it's a bit like
Peter Pan to me.
yeah, it's just like it's not sexy, is
Yeah.
it? Which is kind of like
It's
ironic.
Am I the only one of us in a relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
I'll share my insights.
Oh my god, and
Yeah, well,
I've been married 3 times. Hey,
Oh,
I've got
great.
it,
Yeah.
runs
That's
on the
worked out
board.
well.
Well, I've done the research.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good. Thank
great.
you. 'Cause you-
On behalf
Yeah.
of the team.
of womankind.
As someone who's been married 3 times, okay, I'm sorry, I know it's a very personal
cutting to the
question.
chase.
Just cutting to the chase. Do you, because I think that that's actually really great, because if I think about my friendships, and I think we've got like this weird perception around marriage that it should be forever. There's that real like forever thing that's sort of attached to the idea of marriage. But if I think about like my best friendships and all of those, people come and go in your life, and it doesn't make them any less special or anything that was like less meaningful, like it's lessons learned, all of, like I kind of look at people like that in general. Do you think, because I kind of think like if I had that attitude around marriage, I would be very much more interested in the idea of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really variable. I suppose I went into all of those marriages, all 3 of
Yeah.
them, with the idea that this was,
That was
Yeah.
you.
that was me.
Yeah,
And clearly learnt that, no.
yeah, right.
Well, for
case.
various
Yeah.
different reasons.
Yeah,
various
but
different
I did quite well. The last one was 18 years, or together for 18 years.
great.
It's
so-
beautiful.
Yeah,
But,
that's beautiful.
good things come to an end, and
And new things popped up.
new things emerge.
Yeah.
How fabulous.
Well, and on that love front, I'm keen on finding someone who just wants one girlfriend.
Oh, absolutely.
But you're not in that department.
No.
No, like I wouldn't like not want that, but I just wouldn't mind if they didn't.
See, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, different.
Yeah, like I just that
Different
wouldn't-
generations, huh?
Yeah, I just wouldn't. That wouldn't worry me at
Yeah.
all. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I just wouldn't.
So
I
it
wouldn't-
wouldn't worry you because that's an idea that you have, or have you been in that situation and you've lived it and it's been
I
okay?
haven't lived it actually. I haven't like lived it. I dated a guy for a while who our relationship like was very open and communicative. It was probably the most open and communicative relationship. We didn't see each other for very long. He ended up moving overseas. But I just remember that was the most empowered I ever felt in a relationship in terms of, I just love flirting. I just love a flirt. And you know how just some guys are just a bit weird about a flirt? And like for me, flirting's quite sort of like, it's the fun part of like getting to know someone, and I enjoy that part of it. And then sometimes you just want to like, it's just,
I love a good flirt though.
like,
Yes.
you know, and
I
like,
think flirting's brilliant.
I think flirting's
I
good.
think it's
But
different
then
to being in a relationship.
I just
clearly.
I just also really enjoy sex, and to me, like, that's quite different from being in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I
love
really,
that you have that separation in your mind.
yeah, like,
But
and-
I'm a Scorpio, so there's a different problem there.
yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Like, when the two of them are together, right, when you're in a relationship with someone and you're having sex with them, and it's great, like, that
Yeah.
is, like, something, like, out of this world. But I think both things can exist separately.
Okay.
Yeah, like, to me, sex is quite a physical...
Yeah.
Yeah, I love flirting with my
Yeah.
partner. It's
Yeah,
epic.
it's great, yeah. But yeah, I've just been in situations before where some of my boyfriends have just been really uncomfortable about that.
And maybe jealous.
And thought more of it than like,
jealous.
you know, yeah, well, we were in a very much a monogamous relationship
Right.
and very much thought that there might have been something else going on. It's kind of like, well, that to me, that's a reflection of what you think about.
Do you think flirting, though, has to be a thing that you can't do with other people when you're in a monogamous relationship?
No, I flirt
Oh, I
with
don't.
everything.
I love flirting.
Oh, I love
I
it.
think it depends what you mean by flirting, because there's all sorts of different
Yeah,
well,
types.
that's
So
actually,
you have
yeah.
to be very specific.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, well, yeah, what is... I mean, I guess there's a spectrum of flirting.
Yes.
There's a flirting to foreplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For sure.
But then I think actually what we term as being flirting is actually probably fine because it's really just been really nice to someone. I don't know.
My problem with flirting is that I was told by various friends that men were flirting with me. I had no idea.
Oh, so I was going to
dear.
say that because I miss flirting all the time,
I'm like,
apparently.
what?
Oh.
No, just being friendly.
Because
What?
I just think
Yeah.
it's a bit of fun and friendly, and I love a good bit of sexual innuendo,
Yeah.
as people
Yeah.
are going to find out.
Yeah, it's true.
Um,
Just give this girl an eggplant.
This is
and-
healthy.
Yeah.
But I it doesn't mean I want to go home with any of these people.
No.
I was brought up watching Benny Hill,
Ooh.
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
it was just like the way of the 80s. But I just find it quite fun and to have a really good laugh and a bit of a chuckle. But it does not mean that it's all on with that person.
No.
No.
I just
No.
I just find it quite
Yeah,
hilarious.
exactly. Yeah, like it's just it's a banter part of
It's
like
innuendo.
it's innuendo. You're right. Yeah, but it actually doesn't mean anything more than that.
Doesn't
Yeah.
have to.
No, exactly.
Speaking of flirting, I want to open that bottle because unfortunately that one has run out. And
How did that happen?
I mean,
well, the problem was that I was quite ghetto.
we
and,
are 16 minutes in,
and the team,
and we've already run out of bubbles.
Well, the team were kind enough
I'm still
to.
on the first glass. I want
well,
everyone
I'm still
to
on the first
know.
glass, but I'm going out tonight, and this is like
First
usually
glass.
my get. Well, it's the first bottle.
We just never let it get empty.
Yeah, but the
Just keep
team.
topping it up. Oh, it's my first glass. It's like a wedding.
I'm going to the opening of Book of Mormon tonight,
Oh.
and you know
Fabulous.
I am, as they would say on the show, getting wet with salvation right
Oh, kia ora,
kia ora.
salvation. Here's to that.
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Kilda to salvation.
Yeah, and also thanks to Mel for organising,
Yeah.
Yeah,
from
Mel.
the Switch TV team for organising
Yeah.
the old bubbles, like just...
Because I'm stuck in front here, you have to pass me that.
Oh,
or the
see what's-
team.
Oh, we've really got
We
got
kind
this,
of-
haven't
we're
we?
locked
Yeah.
in.
I'm so
Hang
limited.
on, I'll keep my mouth. Look, see, like
Oh,
this is again
oh.
not my first rodeo. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good
Yeah,
work.
just keep your mouth,
Yeah.
keep your hands
that,
wide.
Yeah,
Do you know
raise the
actually?
mood.
Do you know what
Left
this is called?
outside.
What?
This is called the squawking eagle.
Where did
Is
you
it a
get that
sexual
shit from?
position?
From porn. It's a sexual position.
Oh, tell me more.
Oh, shit,
With the
I can't
arms?
believe I'm about to do this, but like,
Go on.
okay, so basically
Go
you
there.
hold your arms like this, and then there's like what's going on in my hands
Oh,
right
okay.
now, and then
Okay.
and then I'm squawking.
Keep going, Jess. Keep going. I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there.
That's what's going on. And so I went
Yes,
through, oh, that
Jess.
was that great. Wow.
Oh.
Wow, that really, those bubbles got us really excited. See, this is why this is a perfect sponsorship
Do you wanna top
opportunity
up?
for someone. Yeah, of course I want to top
What
up.
I want to say is that little bucket there says.
Oh, I can pour it because I feel like this is...
Oh no, I can do it.
Oh, are you
like
sure? Oh,
I've got
great.
this dexterity.
Oh, you
Props.
have
We're going to
to.
get used to these props,
We
aren't
are
we,
going to get
ladies?
used to these props. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cheers.
Okay.
Oh, Oh.
You're not driving, eh? 'Cause
I'm driving later, so
Yeah,
being very careful.
Yeah, you are being very
well,
careful.
it's your
Thank
first
you.
glass, so
Oh.
it's actually fine.
Oh.
Mel's coming
Mel.
in for
Mel's
a top
coming
up.
in for a cheeky top up.
That's the
That's
off-stage
happening.
Waha
Oh,
Wāhine.
Yeah, Waha
Tēnā
Wāhine.
koe, ngāti whanau.
Hey, just so while I'm doing the top-ups.
Yes.
And that's going to
Yeah,
be
yeah, we
another
should-
top-up
yeah,
in a
yeah,
second.
yeah, exactly.
What we should talk about is the little on-air, on-screen rules.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So,
House rules.
house rules for
Okay,
how we want
house
to
rules,
roll.
yes.
Because
This is a good show to establish these boundaries as well.
it's first
Absolutely,
roll, so
boundaries.
let's talk about how we want to roll. So what are we thinking here? So there's words I like to use. And
Some of your favourite words.
some of my favourite words, like can't believe.
Charmaine really loves to go into any type of store that has letters, like key rings and stuff, and like number plate.
Embroidery
addition,
stores and the like.
Embroidery stores and the like.
Move the words
and move
around.
the letters around.
Like
to spell
country
out.
road.
Yeah, the old country road. Yeah. So this is Charmaine's actually. I feel like you've got some curlers.
Anglo-Saxon part.
Yeah,
of
I-
a whakapapa.
Well, I like to move around the whakapapa.
That's
Yeah, and
tell me more.
create some new kupuhau.
Whainga
some new
kupuhau.
words.
Yeah.
Alright.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Lovely.
anyway,
Yeah, okay, sorry.
what we
Back-
probably
back-
established is
back
that
to your
there are
point.
some words that some of us might like to use and others might like to not use. And yeah, so what we talked about just before we came on air was that we were just establishing whether words like shit, fuck, cunt were actually going to be on
Yeah.
air or off air. And Hene's not keen to use cunt because she is a doctor
Lady.
and a lady.
Yep.
Oh, kia ora.
Whereas I'm a bit more ghetto than that.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
probably going to go there when the
I feel
time
like
is right.
if we took that word out of your vocabulary, you wouldn't be saying much, would
Oh,
you?
it would
Yeah.
be very quiet.
It'd be very quiet. and
Probably
not
10
almost
minutes.
mute.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
I mean,
yeah.
like, how long are we going
Do you know what
tonight?
we could do? We could get you a cunt button, and every time.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. And every time you say
Oh,
it,
we
we'll
could
just
press
say,
a buzzer
Yeah,
every
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we
You
could
could press
count
a
up
buzzer,
at the
and
end.
that's how you could
how
I
participate.
remember not
in
hitting the table. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, God.
This is a live broadcast
What a
show.
nightmare we must be. He's just out there, just no. I
He's
told him
cursing
one
us
thing.
out there.
He told that was our one rule.
Don't hit
One
the table.
roll,
Don't
don't
touch
hit
the
the
table.
table.
Yeah.
And the doctor's already done it.
Yeah, the dog.
But there's some words she won't say, but she will go against the rules and hit the table. There we go.
I am that woman.
Yeah, exactly. So, but other than that, I think we just say,
I think it's
say
all-
what we want to say.
I think we say what we want to
Yeah.
say until we get our
Yeah.
first complaint. But I do
and then
love,
should we say it more?
and then we'll probably
Don't
reply
complain.
with
Read
it.
the complaints out in show.
I will
Yes,
read the
yeah.
complaints out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like mean tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like a
that
good
could be
mean tweet.
encouragement, actually. That could be a perverse incentive for
Yeah.
our viewers
Yeah,
and
exactly.
our listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
Write us a little complaint.
Like roast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
roast
a
us.
roasting. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's also a thing.
That could be.
That's in the same category as a.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
So that's been on my mind this week is how we're going to deal with that, and I think we've solved that.
Indeed.
So
I mean, I've got no idea what the rules are.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
are we?
Can I have some water, girl? I've been having some water.
will. Hydration.
Yeah, hydration.
And healthy
Yeah,
hydration.
healthy
What about
hydration.
that?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
the other thing that's been on my mind this week for really obvious reasons is wharipaku paper, so toilet paper and
Aw.
coronavirus.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm okay. I know you were very prepared for coronavirus.
So I'm a prepper.
Oh, she is a prepper.
I am a prepper, so I'm prepared
I saw
for...
you. I saw you. Sorry to interrupt, but I saw you.
No, you're fucking not sorry.
Yeah, no, honestly though, like a good hour before the first case was confirmed, I walk into Shah's apartment. She's like, "The first case is about to be confirmed. I can feel it in my waters. I've already stocked up."
I've
I was
done
like-
everything.
She
My
was
whole
like, "I've got
fucking house
yeah,
stocked
her
up.
whole house." She was like, "You'll be safe if you get stuck. You can
Come around
here."
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, don't come round. I don't want
yeah,
any of you around.
no, that's true. Actually,
No,
just
just stay away.
have to give
Go
me a
and visit a
hand.
Mormon. They're always
yeah,
prepared.
lovely.
yeah, that's
The Mormon whānau are actually
This is
prepared
something
and
I learned
very
from you.
welcoming.
And they've
Yeah.
plenty of Milo.
Yeah. In 2
No
years of
fucking
supply.
caffeine and not a
No.
drink in sight, so take that with you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I know you're really prepared.
I am
Have
fully
you got,
prepared.
What is the toilet paper for though?
So, and I was just telling Henny this the other day. So I was wondering about that because I thought, well, if you're going in quarantine, you might need a little bit extra wharipaku paper. But it turns out that's not the deal. So what seems to be worrying people is the belief, which is unfounded, that all toilet paper is made in China, therefore there won't be any coming in. So I read all that online.
No.
But it turns out lots made in Aussie and in Singapore,
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
but that seems to be the shit on the shit. Okay.
Oh, so good. Well, no, that actually does. I thought people were going to make like fashion themselves.
Oh, the masks.
The old
Yes.
masks, because
So
the masks have sold
Because
out.
there's a worldwide shortage.
Oh, I was going to clean my
Yeah.
oven and I went to buy a mask. No mask to be found, so dirty oven for another
You were
week.
seriously going to clean your oven?
Yeah,
Don't clean your
I
oven,
hate
girl.
cleaning an
So,
oven.
but there's a crisis on. Don't clean the oven. There's no need.
No, like park that.
Oh, no,
Seriously.
yeah, I should park that. Life's too short.
Not a priority right now.
Yeah.
Hey, so give us some real medical advice on the Kaoreona virus.
The Kaoreona. So, the WHO came out with a new little video today which showed some key messages. One is that you need to hang out with somebody who's infected for about 15 minutes and get droplets of their saliva
There's many ways
on
to
your...
do that.
we may discuss this at some length. On your mouth, on your eyes,
I
into
hate
your
getting
mouth.
it in the eye.
So worse. Bloody
We're
hell,
sticking
that
with
stings.
the coronavirus
Okay,
for
sorry.
now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. That's
Yeah.
it in a nutshell. 15 minutes with bits of droplet falling on your mucosa and your
Can
eyes.
I ask though, because this is a thing that I am struggling to understand. So you know how they say the people who are sick should wear the mask, not the people who aren't sick.
Yeah.
But where I keep getting stuck in my own OCD mind, because I am an OCD person and a prepper, and it gets worse and worse, whānau, but as the weeks go by, you will see for yourselves. But so the thing is, I'm like, okay, but because you've got to be around the person and you've got to have got it in your eye. Or mouth or nose. So if you're around a person for that period of time,
Who you know is infected?
so, but you don't know, right?
That's
so
the issue,
So that's
yeah.
the thing, because these poor people don't even know at that stage that they are infected. So if you were wearing the mask properly, and no one is. But anyway, let's just say you've managed to get all that shit right and you've got it on right, but you're so you're not infected or you don't think you are, and you're trying to prevent it yourself from getting it. How is that not a good thing?
Well, it's overkill, essentially.
Yeah,
So,
but I'm all about overkill. I'm
You
living
can't-
in an extra
you can't-
world.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you
no,
can't
so
really
it's
argue
about
that, can you?
covering if you're sneezing and coughing.
Yeah.
You know, cover and throw those tissues away.
Yeah.
Washing your hands really vigorously
Yeah.
Yeah.
is crucial, and
Sing happy
washing
birthday.
regularly. Happy birthday.
Yeah,
And
that's how
I've
I
seen a
remember.
couple of great posts on Facebook today about the Texas coronavirus prevention plan. You've been chopping jalapeno peppers, making your tacos. Imagine that you're washing your hands after that before you put your contact lenses in. And I think you had another
before you touch
suggestion
your taco.
before you
Yeah.
touch your private parts.
Yeah.
Another
Never
one was
again.
about imagine you're washing Jason Momoa, if he rings your bell.
Woo.
That could take a while, right?
I think he rings
I'm
a
just
lot
going
of
to imagine
bells.
washing my partner. That could take me a while. So that's
Yeah.
the amount of time I'm going to wash my hands for.
Or if
That's a really long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very. I'm just going to be washing my hands a lot now.
You're going to be thinking about that
I'm
all
gonna
night.
I'm just gonna be thinking about Jason Momoa now. Every time I wash my hands, just being like, how
Sorry, not sorry,
would
ladies.
I
So I
wash
go.
him for?
So you're saying this? Hey, Jason, you want to get married?
Do you want to get married?
So
Yeah.
Jess actually says
Yeah,
that,
that's- I like to say that to people. Just
people she
strangers
meets.
I meet in the club,
Yeah.
mostly.
But are they people you like or people you want to get rid of?
Oh, no. The people I quite like. So I just have a real, I just cock block myself constantly. So I'm my own Buddhist cock block. And then when I notice
I'm so
that
glad this is all coming out now,
and then
literally.
And then what happens is that when I notice that I'm doing it, I like to point out that I'm cock blocking myself, and then just
You
and
say that
that's-
to the guy.
So Jess has sent me a
Very
couple of
cool.
things that she's
very
she's
cool.
done when she's noticed it in the morning and gone.
I might
Yeah.
have to eat chocolate now.
Yeah. Can you?
You're
They're-
gonna
they're
need
some
you're
of the
gonna need a
besties.
chocolate for
They're some of
this.
the
Okay.
besties.
It's going to make a rustling
There's
noise.
there's so
They're the best
yeah.
chocolates to fuck up a broadcast, but
Yeah,
they are very tasty.
Yeah, open it in the
Russell,
microphone.
Do you want one, Mel? I'll send you one out.
Oh yeah.
You can just throw it.
Okay, I'm
cheeky
just
throw.
sorry. This is going past the camera.
Oh my god! But though you got it through the door, that's great. Yeah. No, I've just decided I've kind of reached that point in my life where I'm just kind of like I'm just who I am.
In the ripe old early 30s.
Yeah, just you just kind of. How good is it though? Getting older. What a bloody lie that they've told us about getting older.
Oh,
because
that is a lie.
the older I get, the more I realise that we get better and better and better.
Oh, we do.
And it's like this like weird lie.
Until you
that
try
is-
to jump on a fucking trampoline, girl. And then
About that maybe in another show because I've been working on an internally worn device development.
Are we going to wear them?
Called
Can
the
we wear
FemFit.
them?
I'm gonna shout out to my
love
mate Jenny
FemTech.
Kruger
Yes.
at ABI because I will reach out to her to get us some prototypes.
Reach out so we can reach in, Jenny.
They're fantastic.
Is it all about your
And it's got-
Kegel?
Yeah, and it has a little bird on your app, and you fly the little bird in different ways.
Oh, that's so
Jenny,
great.
we're coming for you.
We're coming for you, Jenny.
Oh, that's so
I know you're gonna
great.
love it.
Because I'm
So
using,
to speak.
I'm using a Kegel camp.
Because not one woman's
Thing at the
ever got
moment.
the fucking Kegel exercise
know why I'm
right.
doing
Or
this.
that she's aware of.
We're mostly using our abdominal muscles.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, you've got
So
to
it's-
really
and
feel.
the good thing about this device, it's got multiple sensors. Most devices on the market only have one. I
Oh, it
believe,
sounds
one
like
or
I'm
two.
going to hate it.
Okay. Sounds like we're
You're
going
gonna
to hate
absolutely
it.
loathe it.
Oh God!
Oh,
it
because
sounds
to that
awful.
point, I am in pending hysterectomy land.
Oh,
Oh, and I've been in
shit.
pending hysterectomy land for like 7 years because I haven't actually I've known that I need to go, and I've had that conversation with the gynecologist for like all this time because I've got endo,
Right.
and this one is I'm treating it.
Good. Very
yeah,
good.
I've been treating it for a very long time, but it's shithouse for any woman who goes through that, and I saw that bullshit that's coming through about the government fucking changing it so you can get diagnosed really quickly. I'm like, fuck, that's like I'm sure other people have got great views on that, and I don't need. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's not about getting a quick diagnosis and making up that we're now going to spend money on people getting a quick diagnosis because GPs should have fucking been diagnosing it anyway. But there's still a whakama, which an embarrassing moment for a woman of any age to make it to a GP because a lot of them are men, and to say, oh, I've got really painful periods, and my mate is uncomfortable because there's this misconception
Can I
that
interrupt
it
you
is.
there for 1 second?
Please.
Let's call it our awa. Let's not
Oh,
call it our
awa.
mate.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's not a
good.
sickness, right? It's a normal thing
No,
about
but
our bodies.
I'm glad you've done that because there's this there are different words that people use.
Yes.
So tell me about that word.
So I
the
think
change of word.
It's important that we,
Of the flow.
especially as Māori women, but as all women, think about our periods as a normal event. This is not some sort of illness. This is not a sickness. The period is part of being a woman. So as Māori women, some people use this word mate. I've had lots
Yes.
of conversations about it.
and it's
Mate
been around for a long
is the word
time
for
using that
sickness or
word.
death.
And it's not a sickness. You're so right.
No.
So
Oh my
talk
God,
through the
isn't
word
that-
So
Yeah.
awa.
we can use our awa,
Which
our
is the
awa
river, the
whero-
flow.
Yeah, and awa whero or our kura, awa kura.
I
There's
love
many
it.
people-
Yeah, but I love that. That's another,
Yeah.
different options for that because
Yes.
Isn't
oldies always
yeah.
use mate,
Yeah.
So love and respect all of our kuia,
Yeah.
all of our,
but there weren't other
Mama.
thinking behind that
No.
at the time.
No.
So it's a colonised thing.
It's,
this
I was
word
going
in
to
a
fuck,
say,
isn't it
yeah,
just?
of course it is.
Oh,
Isn't it
I'm
yeah.
I'm saving colonisation for another day.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll bring
because
that up at some point.
because I want to stick on that kaupapa just around that awa isn't.
Yeah.
So yes, so it is difficult. It's a hard conversation for any woman of any age, like you say, to go to a GP who's
Yeah.
many men and they're trying to be helpful.
And even to go to a woman to say,
oh.
I'm in a lot of pain, and is that normal? Because there's just this misunderstanding that it is
Yes.
that it is painful to have a period, but apparently, it isn't that normal, and so going. The diagnosis isn't necessarily
made.
made because you don't get there to have it.
No.
You just think that these sweats and this shit pain is normal.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
think I've just got to put up with it. It's part of being a woman. It's going to
And you
hurt.
soldier on for a really long time.
Yeah.
Because
Which
then when
is-
I find, I've had a good gyno all the time, and then she's retired, and I've seen someone else, and he said to me, and he's wonderful and he's brilliant. He said, "Why have you waited 7 years? What's the problem?" And I said, "Oh, it takes a long time to get your head around the fact that you won't be able to have children." And then more to the point, an option is taken away from you.
Yeah, it's an option, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's that you even though I'm now 45, so I'm not necessarily considering having a child, but I won't have an option to have a child.
No.
And he said, "Oh, that's fair." And he looked at me with, you know, not in a condescending way, and he looked at me with a lot of sympathy, and he said, I just can't understand how you've gone through your life with so much pain.
Yeah.
And he said, how do you do it? And I said, it's you just do, because you haven't known anything else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's my normal.
Yeah.
And he said, but how do you get through the pain management?
Yeah. Well, we recalibrate all the time, don't we?
All the time.
And we normalise our own pain, psychological pain, physical pain, the combination of both.
Yeah.
And we suck it up, and eventually, you know, there's no more that can be sucked up, and that's why many of us, you know, have difficulties around coping eventually.
Yes, yeah.
And the only reason I was diagnosed is because I did go to the GP and I said to her, I'm having a lot of problems and I'm having a lot of pain. And she said, and it was a woman, she said, I'm sure it's quite fine. And I said, I actually want to kill someone.
Yeah.
And she said, and I said, I don't want to just do it. I've worked out how to do it.
Yeah.
And just in case I ever do kill someone, for people that are watching, and if they use this later, I hadn't really, but I kind of had. And I said, I worked out how to do it with my hands. But just, I was at my wit's end in my early 20s, and I was like, this can't be right, and Panadol can't be the thing that's going to solve it.
No.
So I hope now that it is a bit better for people.
Yeah.
And for young ladies, where it gets worked out earlier.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. And I think just kind of going to your point around how periods have been treated, I recently did this really out there thing, and I wonder if this is how these types of issues are more like used to be talked about. I did a womb yoga.
Oh yes, you
I
talked
did womb
about
yoga.
that. Wow.
Womb yoga.
Can you tell us about womb yoga?
Incredibly powerful. So it was a day-long kind of session involving sort of yoga and different sort of meditation techniques. But it was a women's circle, and what they explained to us at the beginning of the class was that when a woman used to have their periods in Indigenous cultures in particular, they used to call it like the time of the red tent. And because the cycles would often align, all these women, it was like this sacred time.
Absolutely sacred.
They bled onto the earth, they came together as women, they rested together, they had this time where they talked about their bodies and their experiences. So if there was a woman who was having more pain than others, there'd be other women right there with her who would be able to talk to them about what might have helped them before, and they'd really kind of tend to her and look after them. And I think that's something I've often had a thought that a really amazing, like, someone please do this, but a really amazing like kind of concept for a movie would be, what if men had periods? Like, how would men, what would be the, but like what would happen? Would they take time off work? Like if the roles were reversed, how would we actually look after people and actually treat that time as something that was worth looking after and worth nurturing? But there is this kind of understanding at the moment, I still find it very prevalent, around you just work through and you don't acknowledge that pain, and if it is acknowledged, it's kind of in a way that demeans the pain or demeans your emotional and like levels, and it's not in a way that kind of celebrates it. It's not this like, oh my god,
it's very marginalising.
It's very marginalising.
Totally.
Yeah, and we often think about it as being something quite like, for me, that womb yoga ceremony was a moment where I like had to like really come to terms with the fact that I am so disconnected from my period that I completely skip it altogether. And like kind of coming to terms with like, why do I do that? Why do I see it as an inconvenience? Why do I like really kind of think about it as being something that's not worth engaging with? As my like that's what my body wants to do. And I really feel you on the pain thing. Like it's I remember having very painful periods when I was first getting my period, but I was really lucky that I kind of grew out of it. But I have friends with endo, and it can be crippling.
Oh, totally.
And I can't imagine having to deal with that with people who don't have the context of what that pain is like.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
And then we have this conversation about the poverty around periods and
That's
and
an
the
interesting
product,
thing.
Yes, it
isn't
is.
it?
Yeah.
So my girl Millie has been really pushing the moon cup.
Yes.
She loves
She's
that.
done a great job with it.
She has.
have
And she
you-
got me to try it. I mean,
I'm
it's
all
cracker.
about it.
I've got a
It's-
question. I've got a question
Yeah,
for
go
you.
on then.
Okay, I've got a question for you. So I really want to try one. One of my girlfriends uses one. I was all excited about it. I went in to buy one, and there's two on the shelf. And
I know the answer to this. Go, girl.
I'm not happy.
Tell me,
Okay.
because I think I already know where you're going.
So I look at these two.
Yeah.
And
small
it
and the
says
medium?
small and medium. And I'm like, well, I think my vagina is tiny.
I think it's tight as
I think it's
fuck.
very small, actually. And then I pick up the small one, and it says, "Do not use
If you've had sex.
or if you're over 30." And I was
Yeah.
like, "What?
How dare you?
Do I just wake up on my 30th birthday and
And
my
it's
vagina is like?"
Hey, so you tell her the clinical, and then I'll tell you what
Yeah.
happened, because I decided I'd try more than one.
That's yeah.
Oh, look, I mean, in general, as a young woman who hasn't had any children, you're going to be medium. You know, they have a
Thank you.
small,
Thank you,
which
doctor.
is for,
Very small.
very young women. And
So probably not.
so I think this
It's a
idea,
no,
this,
girl.
this magical
It's a
thinking
no.
that we
Oh,
have about
just
having
let
this
me go
tiny,
gently.
tiny
It's
vagina.
tight as
I
fuck. No, it's not.
It's still tight.
No,
But it's important that you're going to actually, what is the function of the moon cup?
You're
The
right.
It's gotta be
function is
held
to
up.
collect the blood, and it has to latch onto the end of your cervix, right? So, no, it's actually
It's got to
crack
do the
up.
old.
Yeah, you kind of fold it up because it doesn't go up like that.
So Millie
No.
did a great explanation of that
Yeah.
on her
Yeah, the
blog,
old-
where you fold it into
Fold it,
four,
and then you.
and then the old.
And I was joking
do that.
when she first said, "Right, Mum, I have one here for you. You're going to try it." So I was, trying to get this thing out, and I was just about wetting myself because I was laughing so much. Because I'd been separated from my last husband for some time, hadn't had any sex for a very long time, and I was like joking with her. I was like, "It's grown over. Can't even get it in there."
Can't even.
Does that actually happen?
Bit of an
'Cause
overshare, perhaps, for our audience.
No.
it doesn't happen.
Does your vagina actually become tighter if you don't have sex for a while? Because I swear that I've no.
Not necessarily. I think it depends, on exercise and
Oh yeah.
If you're doing your
Hydration.
Kegels,
Hydration. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am
it
doing
might
my.
be drier, but not.
we should probably do them while we're speaking. Just
Oh, I've got a
practice.
really
Are you
great.
doing it?
Yeah,
I've been doing.
I'll bring up my. I've got a
drinking
Kegel.
Kegels.
I've got my Kegel camp app.
Are you doing
um,
your drinking Kegels?
So this is called Kegel Camp. It's
Oh,
by
girl, turn
Sex
it round.
with Emily. I'm up to level 20,
What?
guys.
So where do you find this app? Sex
just-
with Emily.
Yeah, I've just downloaded it. And
Can
so,
you?
oh yeah, just
Show,
give you a
show
little.
the viewers.
A little geese.
Like, you can't
also,
actually see it,
I dropped
but-
my phone. My phone is not broken. It's just dirty.
It's
and,
not broken. It's just broken.
And it's my cover.
Just
My
so you
cover's
know.
broken. Someone could send me a new phone.
Oh, hey.
No one's sending you a phone, girl,
Ruthless.
but that's cool.
Well, and just send us bubbles, really.
So I think,
Yeah.
how is it working for you, that app?
Level 20 is quite challenging. I'm going to hit start. So you basically tense 10 seconds and then release 1 second.
Okay.
And then you do
Should we-
20.
I might need some tenor lady.
And then, but you've got to do that for 220
Oh,
seconds.
fuck off, Emily. That's a
Honestly.
bit full
No.
on.
Sorry, Emily. Bye, Emily.
No, they're good. But then some of them are just like, do it. And by the end of it, you're quite excited.
I was going to say, I'll be having a bit of a
Do you
gas
get
by then.
aroused? Do you get aroused doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my pelvic floor, like I've always...
If you don't have the best pelvic floor by now.
Oh, no, because I use, what are those Benoit balls?
Oh, you got the Benoit balls.
Yeah, I used to wear them like every day, all day.
So I'm not saying if I have or haven't got the Benoit balls. I've got the Benoit.
yeah, you
got the Benoit balls.
The Benoit balls.
As you can see, no secrets on this show.
Yeah, but Benoit balls, are they, like, I feel like they're...
My balls.
they're
That just cracks
great.
me
Yeah,
up.
I know,
Sorry.
balls,
So we've
I
got
know.
more balls than
Then
a lot
there's
of
2 of
fucking
them
men.
as well. Yeah, no, sometimes I have more balls than men. There's 4 balls
Do you know
inside
what-
me
do you know
sometimes.
what I've always wanted to do in a meeting?
Yeah.
Do you know what I've always wanted to do in a meeting? Is say, what the fuck? Have you forgotten your balls? Because you can have mine.
Yes.
You
That
can
would
use
be
mine,
so dramatic as well.
motherfucker. Okay,
Have you-
that's
are
one
yours-
less
are
chocolate
yours-
I can have. I'll give it to Mel.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh,
didn't
oh,
make it out.
oh, didn't
You
make
go
it
get
out.
over there, girl. It's out of the camera. It's fine.
Did you, was it weighted? Were yours
Oh,
weighted?
full on.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
are, 'cause
yeah.
they go ga-ding,
Yeah, it's such a weird feeling. So like,
At first.
it's like a ball. Oh, whoops! I got all
I've never done
excited.
that.
Jess got excited and
Sorry.
she...
Do you recommend it?
I recommend the Benoit.
recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the
yeah.
Hey,
benefits?
device ladies, if you are still
Yeah.
around and still
Maybe
listening,
we could do some sort
we'd
of
love to do a bit of a
reviewing.
device
Yeah.
contra with you.
Yeah, exactly. I
I'll tell you about
really
it later,
love feminine
device
technology.
ladies.
I'll tell you what,
Jess
if you
and I,
have
that's where we
not,
started this, was the Femtech.
if you have not got a Satisfyer Pro 2,
You haven't lived.
Call it all my key
I
Satisfyer
know.
Fem too.
honestly,
Pro 2, sorry. Tell us about it.
Tell us
It's
about
so,
what does it look like?
I feel like the best way to understand what it does for you is to actually go and read the Amazon reviews, because the Amazon reviews
Someone's
went viral.
texting us, so what are you talking? They might be calling
They
about
might
the
be calling
Satisfier.
it the Satisfier 2 Pro. Yeah, if you've used the Satisfier 2
Instant,
Pro,
response from the audience.
You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's like this like long, it kind of almost looks like a,
the way your fingers are
no,
moving
no,
out
no,
like
no,
this.
no,
Is
no,
that the
it
way
doesn't.
it
No,
works?
it doesn't
A lot
go
of finger
inside
action.
you. It doesn't go
does
inside
it
you
go
at
inside you?
all. So it's like
Is
this
that the
little.
thing that...
No, it's like a little suction cup, and I've tried several brands. So my girlfriend
heard
just
of
lent
this.
me her version of it by. Don't worry, we cleaned it.
I was getting all medical over there.
Yeah. I know you were. No. There was a.
But don't worry, because I've got some
Yeah,
paper,
you
paper
can't.
fucking
Don't worry,
sanitizer
guys.
if
You can't
haven't.
catch coronavirus
Thank
from.
you, our local OCD.
Yeah, thank you.
exactly. Just tap into those supplies.
Okay.
But no, it's a very specifically. So I've tried like about 3 different brands of them now, but the Satisfyer 2 Pro is by far the best thing ever. It was about $100,
I just
$120.
need to get my
And
pen
it's just
out.
on the outside.
And it's just on the outside, and it's like this little kind of like circular silicon cup thing.
The Satisfier Pro.
Pro
And
2.
and that suctions
And
on
it-
your
and it
clitoris, is that right?
suctions on your clitoris, but just it's not like a vacuum cleaner.
thank
it's
God.
Sort of, it's
I'd
sort of
be
like
down
a,
with that anyway.
It's sort of like sort of like gently like sucking on your hand, like
Can you show us how it's done? Oh, yeah.
you know, just like a real like gentle kind of like so like it's just kind of on there.
I
and
feel like my
then-
facials could be quite revealing at this
Yeah.
point. I'm like, ooh.
and then
girl.
it vibrates, and it's got different vibrating settings. So some of them like
Oh.
Does it have a remote?
No, it's just got a button.
Is it
That's my
handheld?
only. Yeah, I think it's the Lilo brand. I think that is a lot more ergonomic in terms of like the use
love
of
the
it.
erg.
But the Satisfyer 2 Pro, the head on that, shit, man. Fucking hell. So yeah, one of the Amazon
A bit
reviews.
of lady head on
Like
there.
I would take it. You would take a day off work for that.
Okay.
Like, that's all I'm saying. Like you try it. Like
I'm thankful for not working Thursdays.
Like honestly, like 12 seconds in, and like that is
That
a.
could be
I
the
was
Friday
like,
night.
what is this fucking sorcery?
It's Friday
Yeah,
night.
it's great. It's
And
good
is
time.
that something that you think you could play with a partner? Is that something that would be...
I mean,
I mean, good luck to him or her.
yeah,
but-
exactly. I mean,
Is
I
that
think
what you're saying?
actually the internet has turned the Satisfyer 2 Pro into a meme now about all these boyfriends who, if they find a Satisfyer 2 Pro,
They
it's
get
like
upset. Is
they
there
get upset
tears?
and jealous.
Ooh.
Yeah, but you know, like,
Let
but
us
like
send us your
actual-
stories
yeah.
about that.
I
Yeah.
always think though you can like I always think you can play with a partner
Yeah,
with
I
that
would
kind
have
of thing.
thought so, no.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to like the thing about it
creative.
is it's not like it's not a subtle toy. It's very much like it's there, and then you're just like I'm coming.
I'm not really much for subtle, eh?
Yeah, no, but like you know how like I quite like to be like, oh, hang on a minute, I'll give you a
Yeah,
30-second countdown and then just pop it in me. There is no 30-second countdown.
Oh,
You just
just
kind of like,
boom.
gee, bloody,
Oh,
woo!
Oh, you see?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Not like that.
it,
That's
you
not
know.
how I come. By the way,
Hey,
that was
ease
not my
on
come
into
face.
hey, but I'm not a one-hit wonder.
No.
No,
Oh
no,
no,
neither.
No,
No, but I don't
no.
think any woman is.
No,
No,
that's
okay.
right.
No, exactly.
Oh, but
There could be
I'm
some
not
men
speaking,
watching
I'm not
this.
speaking for everyone.
They could be, learning some good
Tips.
Yes.
tips, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really just about
Tanema.
communication, isn't
Tips
it?
for your tips.
Tips for your tips. Yeah. Yeah, it's back. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, just a bit of juxtaposition.
Yeah.
A bit
so
of
to
segue.
speak.
Yeah, the old segue. Well, this is going to be good, isn't it?
Oh, but it's still connected to that.
Oh,
Mel's coming in for a top up.
Oh, good.
Shall I
Yeah,
try and
go
do
Good.
it,
top
though?
the
Mel.
sister up.
Okay.
Yes,
She's
Mel.
off here, but she's still part of
Righto,
Waha.
righto.
Yeah.
Just before we
Quality.
segue, can I have a little chocolate?
What would you like? Would you like white, milk, or dark? How do you feel right now?
I'm a milk, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
I went for dark
Milk.
and I can
Yeah,
Oh, is it
nice.
the dark? Good. Yeah, I'm probably going to have one of each, to be fair.
Oh, I'm not limiting at one because
No, no.
I'm not very good at like just.
No. Well, you've just mentioned that. That you're not a
What's
one-hit
that?
wonder.
No, not a one-hit wonder.
No,
so,
exactly.
It's International Women's Day,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it doesn't matter if
Yes.
we're talking about sex or what we're talking about, but International Women's Day is Sunday,
Yes.
so it's a perfect time to just talk about women that have influenced us. I think that's key.
Absolutely.
So, for me, it has definitely been my grandmothers who would fucking turn over in their graves at this conversation. Although they were both out the gate in their days, to be fair. So when
without doubt.
with
Kore, kore.
and we're out the gate now, I suppose people would think. But so both of them, in their respective ways, were both very strong women in their own right. So, and very different. So, my dad's mum, she, one of the many things she said, but I loved it, was she said to me when I was about 12, and I was telling you last week, as she talked about Māori men, and she said and she just said it in passing, but it was obviously something that meant a lot to her. And I thought at the time, what a weird thing to say, but so true. She said, men like a woman who will do their washing, cook their feed, and be their mum. And I just remember going, and I was 12, and I went, oh, okay, Nan. And then we got on with making a rewana, bread, and I said nothing more about it. And we're now sort of 33 years on, and she has since passed about 10 years ago. But fuck, she was right.
Oh, was she?
But she was so right. You're like, but you meet a lot of men in your life. Doesn't matter what context, but that's how they are. And you would hope that's not always true. Yeah. Just reminding you, I'm still looking for that man who doesn't want that. Swipe left. No. But anyway, you know, and that had been some of her experiences in life. But she did meet her man, Arthur, who was not my grandfather, but he was Papa, and you know, they spent their life together. So that was not how her entire life turned out. But it was a very interesting kōrero from her about her perception. Yeah. And then my grandmother, who was obviously my grandmother on my mother's side, who was obviously married, and her husband, and then she didn't get together with someone after he died in 1973, I think, and I was born in 1974, so I didn't meet him. Right. But, you know, she was a really strong woman in her life and in everything she did. And I clearly inherited some of both of their traits because, you know, I tell it like it is and just the way it is. But you know, they influence me a lot. So, you know, without sort of going into those women that everyone does, they're the women that actually shaped who I am. And my mum, she's really influential, and I talk to her all the time and every day. Yes. But they are the three women who create and have shaped who I am. So they're the women, when I think about International Women's Day,
you appreciate.
Who have shaped my life.
Reaching over you.
Yeah, just reaching over.
Get in there. While she's doing that, tell us about your...
Oh, I think about my mother. My mother, absolutely critical influence on me, and extraordinary. I remember her saying to me, in a perhaps similar way to your Nan, she said to me at one point, I must have been about 14 or 15, she said to me, darling, you're so lucky. You'll be able to have a live-in lover.
Which wasn't possible then.
No, and I was like, why is she saying that?
You're like, oh.
I was like,
bless her.
And I just sort of filed it away. All right. But you know,
you filed them away.
I think, you know, she passed away 30 years ago. She was very young. I'm now older than my mother was when she passed. Wow. That would be another critical conversation.
Yeah,
let's
talk about that.
My mother was so vivacious. So I think of my mother and my daughter as being very similar in their vivacity and their gregariousness and their beauty and their creativity and their kindness. My mother was very kind. She had a rule: never go to sleep on an argument.
Yep.
Right.
Whānau. We go when we have a disagreement, we work it through so that when we go to bed and we're going to sleep, everyone is tau. You know, everyone's wairua is, you know, kia tau te rangi Māori. That was her thing, and so I take that with me. My kids, if you're watching this, you know, right? It's your mother. We will thrash this out until everyone's fine,
and then it's bedtime.
And then we go to bed. Yeah,
exactly.
How about you, Jess?
I've got a few. So the first woman that really made an impression on me, and we're not going to go into this right now, but I grew up in a really, like, very, very fundamental religious cult.
That's another show.
Yeah, that's
itself.
our whole other show. We won't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was homeschooled, but before I was homeschooled, I spent about 2 years, I was probably between like 5 and 7, I think, at a public school. And so remember that all the women in my life to this point have been inside this church, or my grandmother, who I'll talk about in a second. But I walked into this class, and I'll never forget her. Her name was, I think it was Helen, and she had a red bob, and she used to wear black tights and mini skirts, and she was sassy. And I just remember looking at her and just being like wanting to be like her, and I now look back at those interactions that we had, and I can feel her feminist nature and the way that she taught us. And I will never forget, she was once at the front of the class, and she was doing something, I think she was like bending over and like talking to me about a book I was reading, and boys, being 5-year-old boys, were sort of sitting on the ground behind her laughing at the fact that they could see her knickers. And she turned around to them and she said, "You're not allowed to look at anyone's knickers unless they've said you're allowed to look at them, and everybody has a bottom." And it just really stuck with me. She was the only Ms. in the school. She was just...
And that was so modern.
And it was so modern. And I just remember thinking, like, when I grow up, I want to be like her. And it really stuck with me. And I really like, that there's that kind of always been that kind of connection. I think sometimes when you come across strong women in your life, you just remember sometimes just a really small moment. And then my amazing grandmother. My grandmother was a massive feminist, and I think I owe her a huge amount of credit for where I've ended up with, like, in my life, because she was an outside influence that was able to kind of stay connected, and I very much aspired to be like her. And I remember her telling me about how kindness was her number one priority. She was like, it doesn't matter how much money someone has, or if people are kind, then you should be friends with them. Like, that is the number one thing you should be looking for, is kindness in people. And she's an incredibly strong woman. She was very outspoken. She's lived a really rich life. She turned 80 at the end of last year. And she's just as gorgeous and as onto it and as wonderful as ever. And she's just always been my hero, and I just really thank her for that. And then, of course, my sister. So I've got a sister who's 4 years younger than me, and the H. Maloney. Absolute minter of a human. Just like a weapon. Absolute weapon. I respect her so much, and I'm extraordinarily grateful for the fact that I've got a relationship with her, and she inspires me every day. So I've kind of been lucky in a way that I've really been able to, like, make my own family, and my best friend Lizzie, who I know you've met. Again, like, she's actually just part of me. I sort of almost, like, she is my other. One of my soulmates. The other arm, yeah, exactly. And we have always just had across our group, we've always had very strong relationships with each other, which I think women are really capable of, but it's something that we don't really kind of talk about or dissect enough, in terms of, like, actually when you can be critical, you can call out behaviour, but it's in a really loving way, and it's about making each other better and then celebrating that betterness, but in a very genuine way. I think there's that kind of wave of feminism at the moment where it's all about, like, empowering women, and actually sometimes it's just lip service. Actually, what does empowering women mean? Sometimes it does mean having difficult conversations. It's not about the light, fluffy stuff. It's about having difficult conversations and being able to be vulnerable and being able to talk about your lump and how you actually feel about it, which is okay, not to just be like, but every part of me is beautiful. It's okay to feel like it's not. It's okay to feel like it's not.
Because
and
that's an unrealistic idealisation of who we are, which kind of buys into this other fake...
It's very Instagram, curated.
Exactly. I think that Instagram feminist is something that we're really sort of seeing at the moment.
Rage against the machine about that.
And the other thing that bothers me is that, I'm so grateful that I have such a fantastic relationship with my daughter. She's another inspiration in my life.
Oh, huge.
And my son. And so you know, we have these celebrations of like things for women, and they're really important. And I can see how alienating it is for a lot of our men. So I think it's very important for me to look for ways. I try to look for ways where these celebrations of what's going well for women also include men.
Yeah.
Because we are not separate. We
No.
live in a society where, and also the gender fluidity is there. So these gender roles are not in this binary anymore. So it doesn't make sense to actually talk about an International Women's Day anymore, because lots of different people identify as female.
Yes.
So
And that's all right too.
There's a lot of complexity around it.
There is a lot of complexity, and I really hope for the day where these types of celebrations and moments to be called out on this isn't, like, and I completely agree with you. I think the patriarchy has got a lot to answer for in terms of a lot of the problems that society has. Yeah, and so I also think that for me, and I really struggle with how to say this sometimes, but like for men, they've been very, what we would class as feminine qualities, which shouldn't be feminine qualities. They are like the nurturing
Soft
part,
qualities.
the soft qualities, the nurturing part of personalities that everyone has. Everyone's on that spectrum. Men have been very much actively discouraged in that. And it has been seen as a weakness. And
yet so many of them have those qualities.
And so many of them have it, or have wanted to express that part of themselves. I remember reading a study last year about men who would have loved the opportunity to be a stay-at-home husband.
We need to continue that conversation.
Oh, we
next
are.
week.
Let's get someone who's, because it's just, for me, like, that is the actual, like, that is so strong, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, to be able to stand up there and not
nurture.
care what someone thinks as well, and adding that on top of it, like, that is a strong thing to choose.
All right, ladies, we're coming to the end of our day.
I can't believe that was...
Okay. Now, today, the more important issue of the evening is just wrapping up how we feel about tonight's champagne. And we've got a very simple methodology for this, because we could get into the bricks of the quality of the sugars, etc., etc. But I ask you a very simple question in the daily, which is it a spit or a swallow?
It's always a swallow from me, isn't it?
It's a
swallow from me.
It's a swallow. Wait,
from me.
I'm going to sample it and I'm going to tell you how I feel.
Yeah, your palate is quite discerning. Mine is... I love it, Bubbles.
It's quite sweet.
It is sweet, but you know...
But I'm definitely going for a swallow today.
It goes down quite easily, doesn't
It's a
it?
bit biscuity, isn't it?
It's quite biscuity.
Oh,
of
we're
like
getting
a-
wine wankery now.
Yeah.
Love it.
Fuck, I love a good wine wanker.
Do you know, I've just got to say, I'm so much of a swallower that I actually
Are
did a
you?
wine course
Yes, you did.
with the really, what's the really famous
Bob Williams.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's not Bob Williams. Is it? No, someone. But he
Bob Campbell.
Bob Campbell. I did a Bob Campbell wine course,
Vic Williams,
and
Yeah,
everyone was spitting it out.
It's nice.
What was that? Yeah,
Nice
yeah.
combo.
Everyone was spitting it out.
Everyone was spitting it into
How
these big
dare they.
buckets, and I was not.
Oh, we're talking about the wine?
doesn't spit. For anyone who's listening.
No, I.
Jess doesn't
First of
spit.
I
all,
can't help watching Mel
First
cooking up
of
in the
all,
Jess is a
background.
swallower.
I was like,
Putting me on.
I'm drinking it all.
She's getting married. Hey, we're off. We're
we're
out.
off.
Do you want to get married?
Jess wants to get married. I just want you to swipe
get married. I
left.
just like saying it.
Henny's happy.
I'm very happy.
Are you happy?
And she's off. She's driving. I'm going to a show. Jess is eating chocolate.
I'm actually going to a party because
And Dad's been calling while we've
Dad's
been on here.
been calling.
Hey, so
Dad's been calling.
Komotu from us.
Yeah.
We're finished for the
Pō
night.
Marie.
Pō Marie, thank you for watching us.
Kia ora.
Hey, we look forward to your feedback and we'll see you again next week.
Ka kite anō.
Ka kite
And to
anō.
you.
Atonawa.
Ka kite.
Hey.
We're going to shuffle some paper.